Good morning, world. First, I would just like to apologise for the thumbnail on my last video when I gave people the impression that Molly wasn't here anymore. I never even thought about it. I posted it and it was only when people said, oh my God, I nearly didn't watch that because I thought something had happened to Molly. And I really do apologise. It never even crossed my mind. And I think that's because Molly was with me. So I never even thought it would come across in that way. But today, we're out. We're fairly high up. Come to a place called George's Lane, looking out towards Rivington Pike in the northwest of England. We've been walking up onto some moorland and it's a fairly blue sky. Lots of cloud. I don't know whether we may have a bit of rain later on, but at the moment it's fine and it's dry. The views are magnificent. Now, a lot of people are going to say, oh, you're a bit early. Oh, I don't like thinking about this now till middle of December. Oh, what a lot of rubbish. Oh, but we're talking about the season that's coming up. Now, I'm a big softie and I've always liked Christmas. And weirdly, with me, it always starts at Halloween. Once Halloween is out of the way, I'm like on this countdown to Christmas. I remember years ago, I used to be a supervisor for a drilling company. We had drilling rigs all over the UK. And I used to go and get in the car and visit them. And I remember, as soon as Halloween was over, I used to have my Nat King Cole Christmas tape, because tapes it was at the time, playing in the car. And I used to get myself really, really wound up. I just like it. And I know it's all super over-commercialised and it's celebrated for all the wrong reasons, and then I realise that a lot of people out there probably won't celebrate it at all. But this video isn't about that. This video is just about how we do Christmas, what we think about, how we live with the commercialism, try to keep away from it a little bit, how the day goes, how the season goes, and then I'll keep my mouth shut until we're actually there. Now, I know that not everyone sees Christmas in the same way. Some people, especially people with kids, you feel the expectations, the financial expectations, because we're bombarded. And this is why I blame commercialism so much. We're actually bombarded on the television, on advertisements, wherever you look. It will start very soon. We're bombarded with adverts and telling you to buy this and buy that and buy these toys, and this is the latest one out and your kid can't do without it. And they're all incredibly expensive and you can't afford it, but you're going to go into debt to get it. It's a nightmare. But we do have to remember that not everybody sees Christmas the same way. There are still people who celebrate Christmas because of the original reason for the celebration. There are people out there of different religions who don't celebrate Christmas. But for those who do, what would happen if we just stripped away the commercialism? What would be left? We strip away the commercialism, the expectations, we pare them down so that our kids don't expect as much. And what happens? Everything else in that season, every celebration, come on Molly, takes on a whole new significance. Take a family who live away from the big city, live in a small house, a small cabin, somewhere away from television, away from all the commercialism, the signs, the constant pecking about how you've got to buy this and how you as a child have got to have this and got to have that, because that's how they get at parents. They don't aim it at parents, they aim it at the child, who then puts the parents under pressure. So what happens to this family? Well, the chances are they still celebrate Christmas. And they celebrate it for different reasons, they celebrate it for different values. And it's simpler. And when it's simpler, you appreciate every gift, you appreciate every meal, you appreciate every moment you have with your family, rather than getting up, and we've all been there, we've all seen it, you get up on Christmas morning, kids get there, or whenever you give your presents out, kids get the presents and they get so many. to get a pile of presents, and then they open one, throw it aside, open another, throw it aside, open another, throw it aside. They don't really look at what they're getting because they just want to see the next thing. And is it because they're actually looking for something specifically? I don't think so. I think it's just the experience of opening the present and then seeing something, and does the behind their eyes, are they also registering, noticing the value of a gift, the monetary value of a gift? I think so. And I don't think this is going to change anytime soon. It would be nice to pare things back and have a simpler Christmas. I mean, I'm lucky in that I can live that. My children are grown up, got their own families. I don't spend much time with my family at Christmas. And that isn't because we don't love each other as much as any other family. It's just that they know that I kind of like to spend my time alone. I like to spend my time in my own company. I love my kids. We spend a lot of time messaging each other, and occasionally we see each other, but they live away from me, their own lives, but that's fine. But I like to spend time on my own, so I'm lucky in that I've already ordered a couple of big Yankee candles. I get this freeze on as soon as October is out and we're into November. I start getting these feelings. I love the sound of Christmas stuff coming over the airways, over YouTube, whatever. Just like the sound of it, of proper Christmas carols, traditional Christmas carols. I just like that feeling. I think it's kind of a longing for goodwill, isn't it? You kind of recognise it as a season where we should be happy and feel good about our fellow man. But I am lucky in that I can keep it simple. I have my tree, I have Molly. I have I look forward to actually shopping for food. And this is one thing about being on your own. You can live like this. I mean, Christmas dinner is very simple for me. It's more or less the meal I eat every day because my diet is very, very restricted. But I still like making that meal. I still sit at the table, crackers. No, I'm not crackers. I have Christmas crackers, which other people in the States especially may not know about. But a glass of wine, whatever, carols in the background. Molly's had a lovely tea. It's all happy, the house is warm, smells of Christmas. And I like that, and I think that's what it's all about. You can keep your blooming gifts from me, I don't want anything. My kids ask me what do I want every Christmas, and every Christmas I say to them, I don't know, and I end up saying just get me a bottle of whiskey because I can't really think of anything I want, really. So are we losing out if we live a simpler Christmas without the commercialism? I think a lot of people will probably think so, because if they say, well, the kids will be disappointed. Well, the kids are only disappointed because their expectations have been built up so high. But I think it does work because it throws a massive emphasis on everything else, everything that you think is an insignificance. It throws an emphasis on atmosphere in the home, the decorations, the warmth, the good cheer. It throws an emphasis on the preparation of the decoration, the preparation of the food. It throws an emphasis onto time with family, not just time in the same room as family, who are all distracted by something else that's going on the television, whatever they've got for Christmas, just generally bickering like people do at Christmas. I think living a simpler life and a simpler Christmas, it works for me. It's lovely. I really enjoy it. I then go and see family, probably on Boxing Day, which is the day after Christmas for a lot of for people in England and some Commonwealth countries. I think some countries in Europe do celebrate it, but they kind of don't call it Boxing Day. It's just like another Christmas day. And I may go and see them then, I may not, but nobody's bothered because we all understand each other. And we all know that we love each other. And it don't matter. But I love it because it's simple. And every year I kind of, for some reason, I make it simpler. I want to make it rustic. I want to make it as rustic as I possibly can. And I think that's it. It takes it back a couple of generations before we were bombarded with all this commercialism. And it's just a nicer feeling. It's the feeling I had when I was a kid. And we got presents, but not many. And I love taking it back to a rustic, simpler time. Anyway, it really is a bit too early. Halloween isn't here yet. But as soon as Halloween is over, that's when I shall start thinking about it. At the back of my mind, probably not consciously, but getting that little frisson, that little feeling of knowledge that somewhere over the next few weeks, Christmas will be here. And I'll be able to just play my own little bit, my own little thing. And nobody can do anything about it. And we all celebrate it as we celebrate it. So this isn't a criticism. If you want to celebrate Christmas in a very modern commercial way, that's great, as long as you enjoy it. It's just that I think living it simpler is a different experience. And it's an experience that I get a lot out of. I just feel the warmth, this bubble of goodwill. Take the dog out on Christmas morning and everyone seems to be happy. Have you noticed that? You go out on Christmas morning and for some reason, it's just another day, but for some reason, everyone seems happy. Everyone says good morning with a little more bounce to it. And if you're lonely at Christmas, then you have my deepest sympathy, because again, Christmas, no matter how it's celebrated, will always exclude some people and they will be lonely. So if you know someone close to you, who you know is going to be on their own, pop round, make sure they're all right. Make sure they're not too cold. Make sure they've got enough to eat. And if you can find it in your heart, invite them round for an hour or for Christmas dinner. So people will be lonely at Christmas. And I also think that commercialism increases that loneliness because it's bombarded at you on the television and through media. And it always concentrates on family and fun and bright lights and expense and gifts and warmth and goodwill. And if you're on your own and you can't really afford much food and you've got no family and you're old, it's incredibly lonely. I'm alone, but I'm not lonely. I want to be alone. It's my choice. I enjoy it. I love it. I can have as much fun and enjoyment out of Christmas as the next man, as any huge family can together. But there are a lot of people out there who are alone. And this is why I think that the commercialism of Christmas has done so much damage. I remember only 2 generations ago, in the 50s and 60s and 70s when I was growing up, it was different. We didn't have as much television. We didn't have as much thrown, so sure, we had a little bit, but I can also remember before televisions came along. I can remember when televisions had just come along. The advertising wasn't there. Your expectations weren't as high. And I think it has done quite a lot of damage and can do quite a lot of damage. It's great if you can afford it, but if you can't afford it for any reason and you have children and their expectations are as high as the children whose parents have got money, and why shouldn't they be? They don't understand world finance. It's just seems to be a hard line between having a great Christmas and having a Christmas under stress, building debt that you're going to have to pay off by next Christmas because you're going to have to go through the same thing again. And I think it's great just to keep it a little bit simpler, keep it that little bit less expensive, and you can have the same great time, the same great food, the same great joy with your family as you can if you spend £1 million. And that's my 2 penneth on this day that's becoming a little more overcast, but it's still nice. And we're just going to carry on walking now all the way up to Rivington Pike in the distance. and we'll be out most of the day. And why not? It's a beautiful spot. We will see you on the flip. Peace and love.